Self-cut tutorial using Walmart clippers. Let's get right into it. So first thing, we got to set up our hair clippers. We don't need this. All right, so we need to adjust the blade on the clippers. You're gonna need a screwdriver for that. This was not included. I just put it in there. This is not included either. You can or you don't have to use a straight razor, but I recommend you learn how to use one. You can probably get one on Amazon for maybe 10 to 15 bucks, and they'll send you a few blades with it. Okay, so first things first, I want to make sure that the lever is tight, right? So now this isn't the best quality, I'll be honest with you. It was only 40 bucks, and you kind of get what you pay for, but it'll do fine for cutting your own hair. You got to make sure this is tight, just so that it won't move on you, because this is important. And we're going to loosen these up. All right, and then we're gonna adjust. So what we're trying to see, how there's movement here. So we're trying to adjust it so that it's closer to the bottom. I guess you could call them teeth. But the bottom teeth cannot be in front of the top teeth, because then you're gonna end up you can cut yourself. So you can push the blade back, and then you can also put it on the table like this so that it's straight. And then you can retighten it, right? And you'll feel it. If you start to use it like this and you feel like it's scratching you, then readjust it. Put the top blades a little bit further out from the bottom blades. All right, so we gotta make sure that the clipper is oiled so that it cuts properly. So the kit comes with a little bit of oil, so it's probably already oiled, but we'll just make sure. So just put a little bit of oil on there. All right. And then turn it on. Kind of push the blade, put the lever from open to closed a few times. All right. And then clean off a little bit of the excess oil. All right, should be cool. You do need a mirror. You only need 2 mirrors. A smaller mirror that you can hold in your hand, and a mirror on the wall. Okay, one of the things that I recommend that you do is divide the range of travel on the lever. I divided it into a midpoint, fully open, fully closed, and then 2 points that I guess are 1/4 point and a 3/4 point. So that's important when you're moving the lever up or down, so that way you have a guide, and then that way you're just not doing it blindly, since it's probably the first time that you ever do this. So this will help you a lot. All right, one thing that you gotta take into consideration, if you do adjust the blade to cut shorter, because the bottom blade is going to be closer to the top blade at fully closed position than it would normally be if you didn't adjust it, it'll actually end up hitting the plastic guard teeth. So when you you can't move the lever all the way down, because it'll be hitting the teeth. So you just go you just listen to it. So if you turn it on, then start pushing the lever down. And then once you hear it hit the teeth, then just back it off a little bit. And then, because if you push it all the way down, then you're gonna start cutting into the plastic teeth. Just to take that into consideration. You won't have to worry about that if you didn't adjust the blade. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the clipper in closed position, and get right into it. So I'm doing kind of like I would say like a mid fade. So you want to start below, especially when you're first getting started, you got to start low, because if you mess up, you can always go a little bit higher. But if you start too high and you mess up, then you're gonna have to go even higher than that. And if you don't like a really high fade, then you're not gonna be happy with your haircut. So I'll do the right side first, and it's cutting pretty close because I adjusted the clipper. If I wouldn't have adjusted it, it wouldn't have been cutting as close. It doesn't irritate you, but you can kind of feel the teeth a little bit. So just be careful, especially with your ear, because you can cut your ear. You're not gonna cut your ear off, but you can cut yourself. So when I'm doing this, I kind of drop down a little bit at the bottom, under like the bump that you'll have in the back of your head. I feel like it looks a little better that way, the fade, versus just going straight across, like kind of in a straight line. All right, so we're gonna be working on the left side. And the hardest part about this is that you have to use your left hand. So if you're right-handed, right? If you're left-handed, then it's not gonna be hard. And your right side is gonna be the harder side. So it's gonna take some time, but eventually you will. It's just gonna take practice, right? So just like anything. So I created this line with a 0. So now I gotta start blending that in. So I'm gonna use a 1, fully closed, and we'll start going up, perhaps a ½ inch. And essentially we're creating another line above the first line. All right, now fully open your lever. Okay, grab the wrong clip. This is 2. Not that it matters, but okay. Should have been a 1. So I was like, it's not cutting that sharp. All right, we're gonna start working on blending out the first line. So we started off with 0, and we're gonna work on it now with a 1, fully closed. So essentially what you're doing is you're creating another line about ½ inch above the first line that you created. Alright. Now you can see 2 lines. Now I'm going to fully open the clipper, fully open position, and I'm going to work my way up a little bit more. You're just bumping it up a little bit, maybe a ¼ inch. Now I'm going to grab a 2. Fully closed position. All right, now we're using a 2 clip, fully closed, and we're gonna work our way up a little bit more. You're just kind of bumping it up. Probably only moving up about quarter inch or so, if that. Okay, now I'm gonna go fully open. 2 fully open. And same thing, bump it up a little bit more. Okay, try a 3 now. Fully closed. Three and a half, fully open clipper. Gradually moving my way up. Okay, now, so you can see 2 lines. First one we made, and then this one here. And you kind of have to gauge or kind of do like a trial and error method where you say, okay, I think that size or the length there is probably a number 2 or a 2.5. So then try the bigger number first. Go over it, see if it reduces that line. If it does reduce it a little bit, but you still see it, then try with a slightly smaller number. And little by little, you'll fade it. So we're gonna start with the 2.5. See what that does for us. And as you go up, flick out. And you just bump it up a little bit. Okay. I feel like it did remove it a little. I'm gonna close the clipper to a 2, but I'm just gonna be more cautious. I'm not gonna go as high as I went up with the 2.5 or fully open clipper. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. And now I'm gonna jump back down to that first line. All right, so we're gonna start working on the first line that we created initially. And we started with the 0, so fully closed clipper. I'm gonna start with somewhere between fully open and fully closed, so like halfway. And same thing, we're gonna bump that line up a little bit. And we're gonna be a lot more cautious. Okay, we're gonna open up a little bit further. So about 3/4 open. And we'll bump it up a little more. Okay, now we're gonna go fully open. And same thing. Flick it out slightly. Okay, we're gonna jump to a 1. Fully closed. We'll pump it up a little bit. Just a little bit at a time. Go to a fully open 1 or 1.5. Bump it up a little bit. Let's go to a 2. Fully closed. Two and a half. Fully open. And we're just going up little by little. And let's do a 3 now. Fully closed. A little higher. Okay. So we went through the process, right? But we still need to blend this out a little bit more, especially here. So what I do is I'll basically just start from the bottom again, but we'll start with a higher number. Like instead of starting with a 0, we'll start with like a 1, because I think that a 1 is close enough to start blending this. Fully closed 1. Start from the bottom. Jump up to 1.5. A little higher. Okay, so we started with the 1, and we blended it a little bit, but now we still have this line here. So that kind of tells us that the 1 was too short to blend this line. So we're gonna try to see if we can blend it with the no clip, fully open. And this is when you really want to try to flick it. Don't angle it a little out more like this instead of like this, because it'll cut less, and then just kind of work it around a little bit, like just like that. You can see more of a line down here. So I'm gonna close the clipper a little bit, halfway between the fully open and fully closed marks. Okay. Help that a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna jump back to a 1. Fully closed. And try to blend this here a little more. Okay. So we're gonna go away from that for right now and work on some other parts of our haircut, but we most likely will come back to it later. All right, we're gonna work on the back. Right about here. I'm gonna start with the 1, see what that does for us, and then either work our way up or work our way down. So a lot of this is kind of like a feeling out process. The more you do it, the more you know what you need to do to fix a certain spot. And it is going to take time and practice. All right, so the 1, a little bit, you know, reduce the size or brought it down a little bit, but we're going to get a little bit shorter number. So we're going to take off the 1, go with the no clip, fully open, and just kind of graze the top. Same thing, we just kind of bring it up a little bit. And let's go back to that 1. We push that line up a little bit, now we're gonna go back to the 1. Fully closed. Now there is the kit does come with a half clip. So it's shorter than the 1, but it's supposed to be somewhere between the 1, in between the 1 and the fully open half clipper. back to a 1, fully closed. Same thing, we're bumping it up. Little by little, trying to get rid of those lines. Half, fully open 1. Kind of flicking it out. All right, now we're gonna go to a 2. As you go up, obviously the clips get, the sizes get higher. Two and a half. Fully open clip. Let's jump to a 3. Okay, it's a little better. And there's some hairs that I missed in the bottom, but I'm gonna go get rid of some of those now, but we'll go over them again at the end. Now remember, if you adjusted your blade, the blade is very sharp in the fully closed position, so you have to be really careful, because you could easily cut yourself. The reason I adjusted it is because I want to have the closest or shortest cut possible. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. But yeah, if you adjust it, you feel it right away. The blade feels super sharp. Okay. All right. I'm gonna work this area a little bit. The half. Doesn't cut, so let's close the clipper halfway between fully open and fully closed. See what it does. Okay. And I want to work up here a little bit. Try to work on that with the 3. Two. Work on the left side a little bit. Two and a half. Just grazing it. And to be honest with you, a lot of this is just kind of like a feeling out process where the more you do it, the more you know what areas you have to work a little more. And that's gonna take time. It's gonna take a while for you to figure out, that out. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm kind of like refining it, looking at certain spots where I feel like need a little bit more work. And then depending on what size I use initially, that tells me what size clip I have to use. And you just kind of keep working it until you feel like it's good enough for you. Using a 1 clip right now, fully open. And to be honest with you, a lot of this is, like I said, hard to explain because it's based on your experience and what you see. But the more you do it, the more you gain that experience and cut your hair better. Alright. It's kind of good enough for me. I think it's good enough for a self-cut. I'm gonna jump to my beard and then maybe we'll cut a little bit off the top. Alright, so we're gonna work on the beard. Take a comb it down. And so I'm gonna take like a 3 clip, probably fully open, and I'm just gonna work down, not up, but down. I'm just gonna trim it just a little bit, and I'm not pressing it like tight against my face. Kind of just grazing over it. I'm just working down with it. So away from how your hair grows, or with it, I guess, not against it. Because if you do that, then you're gonna cut it really short. Okay. So I'm gonna cut the bottom here, and I'm gonna try out the smaller clipper that comes with the kit. It's battery powered, so I don't know how well it works, but we'll find out right now. It's alright. For what you pay for, I mean, you don't do the job. Okay. You don't have to work on it like in the exact order that I work on it. This is just how I like to do it. I'm gonna trim my mustache a little bit. It's a little too long. And I just kind of follow the top of my lip. And I'm gonna take number 2 clip and trim it a little further. But this one I am gonna go against it. Okay. Alright. Now I'm gonna work on fading this area here. Alright, we use a 1. And we're gonna go upwards. And I'm gonna fully open the clipper. Just kind of just take a little bit off the top. Don't dig it in too much. Alright, and then I'm gonna take off the clip, the comb, and then put it between fully opened and fully closed, and work on this line here. And then we're gonna fully open the lever and then work on the line. The line keeps getting lower and lower. It's going away little by little. Put the 1 on there, fully closed. I mean, that's pretty close. And then I'm gonna, got some hairs this area. Just gonna get rid of those right now. Alright, come to the other side. And the same thing. No comb, fully open clipper. Halfway open. Try fully open again, a little lower. grab the one. Fully closed. Okay. Work on some of these hairs that I have over here. All right. Now we're going to work on this area. Now we're going to use a straight razor. Be careful with this. You cut yourself, obviously. When they come in little packages like this, there's 2 razors in there, and you just fold them and they crack down the middle. And then you open the packaging and you pull one of them out. And then this thing, you push it out like this, and then put it in there, and then you close it again. Okay? Be very careful with this. I don't use shaving cream. It doesn't bother me that much, so I don't use it. When the hair is already short, it doesn't bother me. If the hair is long, then it will bother you a little bit. But you can use shaving cream if you want. It's up to you. Now we're gonna fix these lines. We're gonna create some nice, some definition through here. And I like to kind of pull the skin on my cheek up a little bit, and then go down like this. Okay, and do the other side. Shave the bottom a little bit. This is probably the most dangerous part. Easiest place to cut yourself. I would use a regular razor here. I'm gonna try to define this line a little bit more. You can use the bigger clipper, fully closed. Be careful. Remember, if you adjusted the blade, it's sharp. Can cut you. If anything, open it a little bit so that it's a little less sharp. I'm probably going to trim down the mustache a little bit more so it looks a little cleaner. Alright, and it's not perfect. I know I probably missed, see some lines here and there, but to be honest with you, it's good enough for me. It looks a lot better than what I started with, so I hope that helps.